So the question is, how do I start a buyer first relationship when my current customers, if they've already gone through a traditional sales process? Is it too late? It's never too late. Now, this question actually came up a lot in coaching calls in the last couple of weeks after working with some clients who got their new install base or their current customers that they needed to find ways to expand accounts with. I personally believe that it's never too late to try to improve the experience that someone has with you. But if the first time your current customers hear from you is to when it's time for them to renew, or it's a limited time deal for them, or when you see an upsell opportunity, that's really not improving their experience. It's just reinforcing more of the same. You know that, right? Now, what you don't want to do is you also don't want to disrupt the status quo because you are the status quo, which means that you want to reinforce that natural bias that we all have to stick with what we're already doing. Most of us just don't like change. But you have to understand how they got to where they are now. So if they've already purchased from you, a lot of, I think, sellers forget that this is your first experience with them and things have evolved and changed. And you need to find out what's evolved and changed for them. So ask them when they first became a customer, what was it that made them become a customer? What made them decide yes? That was a reason they said yes. What was the reason? Ask them what the process is that they went through to internally make this decision, who was involved, and what their thoughts on the process were. Ask about who else was involved, but then also ask about what goals did those people have? What expectations did they have? How is the impact of that going to, how does that impact them? And then ask about even the implementation of it. What did they expect? How did it go? What did they learn from it? So a lot of times people find internal things that have happened because they've had to implement something. Ask them about the goals that they had and what made those goals so important. Ask them how they've progressed in those goals and what the impact that progression had on them. Ask them what they're working on now. What are the obstacles or roadblocks or challenges that they foresee, and what solutions are they considering for those? Don't talk about your solution yet. Don't talk about it. Shh, zip it. Why is that? Okay. So I actually came across some research from B2B Decision Labs on this. They had done a behavioral study that actually aligned with what research psychologist Christopher Anderson, he proposed in his study, The Psychology of Doing Nothing. We've all heard that your biggest competitor is the choice to do nothing, right? It's a real thing. He found that there were 4 status quo biases that people have when they want to put decisions off and that they want to stick with their current situation. They called them preference stability, perceived cost of change, anticipated regret and blame, and selection difficulty. So when you ask about how they got to where they are now and the process that they had to go through reminds them of the effort it took to get there. That reinforces their bias towards not wanting to change. You know, like when you stuck around with a bad boyfriend or girlfriend for too long, or an employee because you've invested so much work and effort into them, same idea. So when you ask about things like their goals then and now and the progress that it had, and you put some quantifiable numbers to that, that also then reminds them of the perceived cost of change. They've put so much work in, they're invested, it's now part of their bottom line. Asking them questions about implementation, what they learned. That's another way to uncover what they call anticipated regret or blame, which they'd have to go through again if they wanted to switch to something. But it also helps you get feedback on what you could improve in your implementation team. And yes, finally, talking about future goals and perceived challenges of those goals and to reach those is another way to uncover ways you can help. But rather than talk about all about what you do and no one else does, which isn't actually true, admit it. You're not actually all different that much. They could definitely explore other options and implement it, but why go through all of that when you already have the ability to do that with what you already have? That's reminding them of the effort and work that they had to go to get a solution put in. Why would you go through that if you've already got the tools at your disposal? In short, you can make the buying experience different for anyone. You just have to make it all about them first. All right, so let's check in. I want to check in with Lou in our comments, see what questions that people may be having, if anything. All right. Lou says, pay attention, no attention to that man in Italy. All right. Well, everyone, I think that's all the questions that we have so far to today. We have just a couple of minutes more, so I'm going to just hang out here. I wanted to thank everyone too, also for all of the comments and everything that you made on the LinkedIn post about the book baby that's coming. Again, I'm not actually pregnant anyone. I had at least 3 or 4 people email me congratulating me, asking if I needed like crackers and Sprite or something. No, it's a book baby. Buy It First, How to Sell the Way People Buy, is signed with Page Two Publishing. We're going to be going to print and we're going to be launching next fall. I'm planning a big launch party in Boston during Inbound. It's going to be a great time. I am so excited for the world to, well, they're going to hear a lot of my personal stories in it. And I've got so many exciting other stories from clients and customers and research and data. It's a lot, but I'm so excited to share it with everyone. And my real hope is that this is going to change how people think about selling. As business owners, we've tried everything, but we don't realize that the thing that gets in our way in being successful in sales is actually our own mindsets. I mean, think about it. We've tried all of the methodologies. We've tried all of the tactics. Why aren't we seeing the results? It's because of what's happening between our own ears. And like anything, you can change your mind so you can change your results. All right. Also, make sure you sign up for our newsletter where we release some little bits that are coming through in the book. But also, any new research that we've come up with, we always share that in our newsletters first to our subscribers before anyone else in the world hears it. You know, sometimes I'm going to comment on things that are happening in our current environments. I've been known to get a little political. No worries there, though. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, keep learning, keep sharing out there. And we'll see you next time, June 21st. We're going to be coming back here. Send us your questions, post them in the chats. I want to know what's on your minds when you think about shifting your mindset to be all about your buyers. Until next time, everybody. Bye.